You're listening to Big Blend Radio's Lost Angel Travel Adventures show with Linda Ballou, travel writer and author, and your host, Lisa Smith. Welcome, everyone. You know, our Lost Angel adventurer here, travel adventurer, Linda Ballou, went up the road, literally up the road, to Ojai in California, which is kind of in the central California area near Ventura. Beautiful area known for art. And she went on an art tour. And I'm going to put this link in the episode notes for everyone to check it out because they do this May, June, July, every second Saturday. It is ohaistudioartist.org, and they have a big event coming up in October. So welcome back, Linda. We can't wait to hear about art. Sounds like you had a good
Yeah.
time.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah. So it's actually, Ojai is actually only about an hour or so north of Los Angeles. So it's a day trip for me. And I've been there many times, but it's been a while. And so I decided to do the artist tour day, even though it was a Saturday, which on a weekend, you're going to find competition. It's the main city will be pretty heavily touristed. But the art tours are a fabulous way to experience Ojai because it is Ojai means nest. That's the translation of the word in the Chumash language, Indian language, who were the earliest residents there. So it's a nest, it's a cradle for creativity. I mean, there are so many artists living in this valley. And if you go there on the weekend, it's a busy place. But if you go there during the week, it's very serene. And it's 13 miles inland from the ocean. So you don't have the fog in the morning as you do in the coastal areas. And it feels almost like Santa Fe. It's kind of, it's got a Mediterranean kind of a deserty climate. And so it's a very special place. And there's a lot of spirituality and art in the creating in this nest of creativity where things are born and brought to life. And the art tour is just a fabulous way to experience the place and the people who live there. So and they've got the art tour, they have many of them throughout the year, but they have it divided from east to west. And I was on the western end of the valley, and then the eastern end of the valley is a completely different world. I thought I knew Ojai, but when I went on this west side of Ojai, which is Oakview, but people who live there say, I live in Ojai. There's only 8,000 permanent residents in Ojai itself, but there are outlying areas, which are really, it's very close together. So it feels like, it has a very small town feel to it. So I went on this tour and went to an area called Oakview, which was up in the mountains. I curled up in the mountain. I went on Creek Road, beautiful trees, places I'd never seen there before, different kind of foliage, and up, spiraling up into this area where there were these fabulous mansions. I mean, my God, how wealthy must these people be?
Hacienda styles, right?
I mean, but no, not
Oh,
hacienda
no.
style. See, that's what surprised me. It wasn't necessarily, there were Spanish style homes there, but there's sprawling estates that were not necessarily Spanish. But the artist that I went to, the studio that I went to first, the lady said she'd been living there for 25 years. It was a well-established neighborhood that I had never seen and would not have seen had I not gone on the art tour. There were like 6 artists in this section, all totally unique. One lady, she was a photographer of photographic art, and she had just come back from Fairbanks and taking pictures of the aurora borealis. And her art was so stunning, so crisp, so unbelievable that it was a photograph. It looked like paintings. I mean, it just was fantastic. So, her work was spectacular, and the view from her place was incredible. It overlooked the whole valley. So you get to experience the lifestyles of these people, and you get to meet the artist. And Her stuff was priced pretty reasonably. It isn't all high end like you would see in a
Mhm.
gallery that's just incredibly expensive. No, her stuff, she had stuff for around $50 that, it was
Mhm.
really nice. And then she had, of course, more expensive pieces. But then I went further up the hill, around and around, around, up, up, up. And the next person was this lovely little gentleman, Grasso, Carlos Grasso, I think his name was. And I sent you an image of this
Mhm.
incredible work of art that his entire
Mhm.
wall was covered with this psychedelic, um, concentric circles that was absolutely totally mesmerizing and so beautiful.
Almost like a mandala
Oh, it
in a
was
way.
just really striking, and then he demonstrated to me with different lighting how it shifted and, how it,
Ooh,
changed
trippy,
the moods. Oh,
Linda.
it was really cool. It was really cool. So that was the east side of Ojai, so 13 miles in from the ocean. And so then this area is very famous for its organic foods, its
Mhm.
agricultural products. It's got the avocado trees, orange trees, and so on. So my next stop, I was in Miners Oaks, which is now a little bit north of Highway 33, which is the main highway there. And I went there because I had heard so much about the farmer and the cook was the name of this place in Miners Oaks, and that neighborhood is a little more blue collarish, more middle class, a lot of young people, and the
Mhm.
restaurant was definitely young people. But but I didn't eat there because because I'm a carnivore,
You wanted some meat?
and I was
Okay.
yeah, and I read the menu, which I don't know, it was mushroom tacos, and I don't know, I'm not a vegetarian, but if you are, and if you like really fresh organic produce, go there. But
Mm.
just around the corner, just up High 33, a little bit further, is this place called Deer Lodge.
Mm.
It's like a carnivore's heaven. It's been there from, since 1932, and they have barbecues and all sorts of different uh, other things on the menu besides beef, but they do have great meat dishes. And they also had a lovely outdoor patio with wisteria hanging down and a gentle breeze. I gotta
Oh.
say, it was a gorgeous day. So spring in Ohio is just unreal. You'll see behind me there's fields and fields and fields of gold.
Mm.
It so
Beautiful.
reminded me of Sting's record,
Yeah, that's a good song. That's a
which is
good
one of my
song.
favorite songs, and so
Mine too.
here I
Mm.
was, just ensconced in these fields of gold. So anyway, this is in Happy Valley, which I'll get to at the end because this is in Upper Ojai. Okay, so you've got
Mhm.
Eastern, you've got Miners Oaks, which is a little bit north of the main drag, and so the Deer Lodge would be my choice. But to each his own. But I really recommend the Deer Lodge. It's an institution there in the Ojai Valley, and motorcyclists do come there, and sometimes they have live music, and the weekends are
Cool.
busy. It's just a fun hangout, and it's really a cool place. Just north of the Deer Lodge in on Highway 33 is my favorite trail. Now, one of the things that's really fun in Ojai is the hiking.
Ooh.
There's a river that goes through, and there's a river bed that there's hiking trails through it, and you can go out there. And there's also a horseback riding opportunity in
Ooh.
the riverbed, which I have done in the past and would highly recommend.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great way to see the area, and it goes along the creek and the river, and then you go up into the oak woodlands. So it's a nice ride, a really nice ride. I can send you the link to that if you want to
Yeah.
put that in the notes. So yeah, hiking there is really a big deal, and people are very outdoorsy there. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a
So,
good
but
time of year for it too.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I know. This perfect spring. It does get hot in the summer, but spring and fall, I would say the
Mm.
shoulder seasons are the best time to go there. Anyway, Cozy Dale Trail is my favorite trail, and it's a little bit out of town, but it's worth going to. And if you have an app called All Trails, it will show you all the trails anywhere. It'll show
Mm-hmm.
it all in Ojai. It's really a good app. It's worth paying, I think, like $30 for. Anyway, it's very easy. Cozy Dale Trail, the access is very easy. But the reason I love this trail is because it's a little bit tough. You've got to climb up a little bit, but you get up to the top and you have this expansive view of all of Ojai
Oh.
Valley and also the vineyards. You have, a valley full of vineyards. So, and there's wildflowers on the way, and there's a little creek in there. So that is my favorite trail. A lot of people do what they call, I think it's called the shelf, which is basically a fire
Mm.
road, and that's where you will, but the shelf is up high, and so you do have nice views when the locals go there walking their dogs. There'll be a lot of people on
Mm.
that trail, and it
Oh,
is
cool.
yeah, it's easily accessed. The other thing that's really fun in Ojai is bicycling. They
Oh.
have a 9.5 mile trail that goes along the highway. It used to be the railroad track bed, but like in the 1980s, they changed it out to become this wonderful hiking, bike riding, equestrian trail.
Well, the
And
rails to trails.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Cool.
it's really, and a lot of one of the fun places to stay there that young people really love is, it's called the Caravan, and it's where they have trailers circled up around a campfire, and they have bikes for the guests, and
Oh,
you can rent bikes at downtown at Libby Park. So you'll see people bicycling all over the place. It's very, very fun and
that's
popular thing
cool.
to do.
Healthy.
Yes, it's a very outdoorsy place, but there's all this art, and they
I
have,
love that.
festivals. So from there, I went downtown, and I wasn't able to. I really didn't spend time there because they were having a big event. That's with
Mm.
vendors, and so it's fun, but I would suggest going there during the week, because
Mm.
particularly in spring and summer, they have music festivals, which are great. And there's the Libby
Yeah.
Bowl. And speaking of Libby, um, this valley, which it's hard to imagine, was at one time peppered with oil rigs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually, when you drive in from the coast, you will see oil rigs still, and they're pumping. And I really didn't notice it that much. And then I read that the whole valley at one time, was covered with oil rigs. So uh, Libby came, and Mr. Libby, proceeded to have a beautification effort there and got rid of the oil rigs, and had the Spanish arcade, and there's
Mm-hmm.
several buildings. There's a museum there that's really very cool, and you have walking tours, so you get the historical significance of the area. And
Cool.
they have wonderful shops and easy to stroll. It's a walking town. It's not huge, so that's really nice. That that's why it has this small town feel. And if you
It's
go
charming.
right,
Yeah.
like I said, if you go during the week, and I think it's really worth spending a night or two there.
Mm.
I just did a day trip because I live like an hour away, but I wish that I had rented a room. Really, even though I'd live an hour away,
Mm-hmm.
I would have stayed for the vendors, and maybe did some music
Do a
that
little bit
night.
more. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but because I didn't chart that course, but at any rate, Then let's see. So you have the Spanish architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there's Bart's Books, which is a very, very famous bookstore that
Oh.
is an outdoor bookstore. Everything's outdoors there. Most of the restaurants, everything has, outdoor patios because it's, lovely weather. Um,
Hmm.
so what else?
Well,
Then,
but the art, I wanted to touch on this that my friends that went there from Georgia, from Peachtree City, and she's
right.
an amazing ceramicist and jewelry
Ah,
maker. And
mm-hmm.
she went, her and her husband went to Ojai just for their artist studio tour, that the one that's coming in the fall.
Ah,
And then she went home and started the Southern Hands Art Studio tour in
wow.
all these different Fayetteville, Gwinnett County, Peachtree City area. So all these counties, all in the outskirts of Atlanta. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's still going. I think it's been going for maybe 10, 15 years. All came from the inspiration of Ojai. Isn't that cool?
Really? Very cool. So then on the west side, that brings me to the west side. I've done the
We had to
tour.
take you to
I mean,
Georgia
on
first.
the east side, excuse me. We started on the west. We went downtown, and now we're going to go on the east side,
Hmm.
which is a completely different feel. It's very bucolic. You drive through the avocado groves and orange trees, and the homes are more some of them are real Spanish feel. Some of them, I mean, they're older. These are like the older properties, and you've got real mature landscaping and oak trees, and it's very mellow. And
Nice.
so, and it's such a pleasure to visit the artists in their studios there as well, in a completely different feel. And you can
Mm.
drive around in there. It's quite beautiful. And one of the things that is fun in there is the olive oil place with all different kinds of olive oil.
I was going to ask you if you got some olive oil because that's one thing I've known Ojai for is olive oil.
I could only do so much in one day, but one of the people that I ran into had just been to the olive oil place, and he said, "Oh, it was so mellow, it was so quiet, it was so peaceful, it was so serene. I really
Oh.
enjoyed it." So, I can tell you that. But on the east side, what you might you can enter the valley from the east, or you can enter it from the
Hmm.
west. So you can go either way, but there's really just one main highway going through the area. So anyway, the reason I wanted to go there, one of the reasons I wanted to go there is because of the Beatrice Wood Art and Culture Center. Now, I
Mm.
had met Beatrice Wood, who is a potter. It's not Beatrice Potter, it's Beatrice Wood, who was a potter.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, in order to get to Beatrice's place, we have to spiral upward on this narrow mountain road and get up to what they call Upper Ojai. And it's her home, her studio is in Happy Valley. She owned about 5 acres. She picked this place to build her home because it was near Krishnamurti. So
Mm.
one of the other things that's happening in Ojai is this real spiritual level.
Hmm.
And Krishnamurti's school is here. And she was a devotee of his. And he was the reason she moved to Ojai. And
Oh,
she is,
wow.
yeah, she is one of these women, Lisa. You know how I get hooked up with special women?
Yeah.
She it was an amazing woman who came from an aristocratic family in England and rebelled against them.
Oh, here we go. See?
Yeah, she had her mother, who was a very dominating woman, wanted her to have a coming out party and get married to a duke or a count, or.
Oh, boy.
But she fought her mother on all of it and insisted that she was going to be an artist. So the mother agreed to let her go to school in Paris. And so she met all sorts of wonderful artisans and, grew, evolved in that arena. And she was born in like 1893, I think, and she lived to 1898. She was
Okay.
105 years old, and she has this incredible portfolio of work in pottery and ceramics, but she didn't like make bowls. She created little figurines, and
Mm.
and very erotic and sensual little figurines, and
Little naughtiness.
naughty,
Mm.
yeah, her little naughty stuff. But she did other stuff too. But I had the opportunity, like I say, I'd been to Ojai many times, and on an art tour, she was alive. I think she was like 102. And I went to
Wow.
her, yeah, I went to her home and with my friend, and she was like lying on a divan,
Hmm.
stretched out on her divan with all of her fans surrounding her. And my friend and I had to stand in a little line to get to her. And when we got up to her, my friend said, "Oh, I just love you and your work." And she said, "Oh, too bad you're not another sex. We could have had some fun." She was
Oh,
she
th-
was a kick in the head. And I'm reading her book now. It's called I Shocked Myself. And I'm reading her, and she had a tremendous sense of humor. And she was a brilliant woman and a tremendously independent person who charted her
wow.
own course. And, her art is really fun, and she was really fun. And now the culture has her work and other work of
Mm.
artists in the area are also on display in her art and culture center. That
Nice.
sits on 5 acres of land. So I think it's well worth um, taking a very steep, curvy drive up to Upper Ojai.
That's cool.
But
That's
then
cool.
after that, I was ready for a glass of wine. It was time.
Well,
So,
yeah.
so I roll back down the hill, and I go to my favorite place that I remembered so well that I had been to many, many years ago, and it's called Bucoli's. And Bucoli's is still there. I'm happy to report, and it's just this wonderful. It's a big ranch, and
Mm.
now they have vineyards, and they have
Oh,
their
cool.
own wine. And it just I thought I was going to go have a snack, but they had a wine tasting going on, and I went, oh, gee, that's great. I think I'll partake and have a little bit of Italian food while I'm at it. And it's like a lot of places in Ojai. You're in an outdoor patio, and you have the wonderful breeze and the
Mm.
sun, and just a relaxed
I
environment.
do think you should have spent the night just hearing
I
this.
should have. I should have, because then I could have gone to the music thing that was happening. I would have been,
She would have
patient
been
enough.
ready. She'd have had her wine
I would
tasting,
have been able to drink more wine. Yeah. As
Exactly.
it was, I could only just have a taste. But I can recommend it, and say that it's what in town there are lots of restaurants, and there are a lot of shishi restaurants. There's a great Mexican restaurant there by Libby Park. But I love Vocali's because it's just an old-fashioned Italian, and
Nice.
it's just been there
It's
forever. And
Mediterranean, you know?
yeah, and I really enjoy it. So
Yeah.
those are my tips.
Yeah.
You have any
Well,
questions?
awesome. Yeah, I want to go. Like, I want to go hang out. Well, I love that I saw on their website of the art studio that Ojai Studio Artist.org, everyone there's second Saturday studio tours,
Right.
May, June, July, and then October is their big event. But also just to get you warmed up, there's virtual tours that you can go
Ah,
and check out right on their website, and you can see all these artists, that
right.
you're talking about, which so you can kind of get prepped and figure out who you want to go and see. What's your thing, Ojai to me, that whole area, like Ventura, I
Right.
know
I was
Ventura kind of really grew, right? But I think this area kind of sets you up for going into Paso Robles and Robles, however you want to say it, and Santa Maria and that region. It's kind of like if you're going from LA up, this is kind of like the welcome gates to the
well.
Central Valley.
I want to say that one of the things that's happening on June that they told me, one of the artists told me, be sure and come back in June because there's a gentleman that has a acreage up on 154. You can take 154 highway up a mountain, up and down and around, and it'll drop you off into Carpinteria, and so you're right on the
Oh,
beach. So that's another thing, and then he's going to have his place open for guests in June, and I'm
nice.
thinking I might roll on up there. But what I'll do is go to his place and then go over the hill and do Carpinteria, which is a
I
wonderful,
love,
sweet little beach town, and it's the safest swimming beach on the coast, honestly.
really.
And yeah, I call it Baby
Mm.
Cake Beach.
Don't they have a Santa Claus or a Christmas shop there?
It's just north. Santa Claus thing is just north, but
Mm,
Carpinteria, uh,
mm,
shoot, I lost my train of thought. It's just a tiny little town, but they have a great farmers market on Thursday with all the produce coming from all the local farms, which is
mm,
good. Thursday's a good day
yeah.
to go up there. But I want to swim there because our beaches now are, some of them are just plain old toxic with metals from the
Oh,
fires because we've had
oh,
the rains, so now the runoff is going into the ocean. So
oh.
I'm in the process, as you know, Lisa, of updating. One of the reasons I went to Ojai is because I'm updating my Lost Angel in Paradise book, which is 32 day trips up the coast. Well, I didn't have Ojai in there, and I really should. It's
I
really
think
a
so.
wonderful stop. And the other thing about Ojai is they don't allow any chain stores, so you're not going to see McDonald's there.
Yay. Yay for
No,
them.
no big chain stores. You have little craft shops, and the place called the Fig is where a lot of local artisans have their wares, and they're not terribly expensive. It's not like an art gallery. It's more like folk art, or stuff
Hmm.
that you can afford kind of art. Okay.
That's cool. But that's
We
like a
need that.
co-op in a
Yeah,
way,
we
right?
need that. So the Fig. And so our
Cool.
beaches right now, Malibu Pier, where I would swim in the past, I'm a little hesitant to do it because I
That's a good point.
know, I mean, I'll be checking with Heal the Bay. That's one of the things I'm going to put in my book is don't swim without checking with Heal the Bay to see what the toxics
Mm,
levels are, because this huge fire situation is not over, and they're still clearing hazardous debris. Pacific Coast Highway is still not open and won't be until the end of May, and so it's
mm,
a thing. But Malibu itself, where the Country Mart is, and Malibu Lagoon and Surf Riders Beach, all of that
mm,
is open, and surfers are swimming in it. But I'm going to go up to Carpinteria and go just a little further
mm,
north. Uh, and as I say, that beach in Carpinteria is safe. For some
mm.
reason, the waves
It's
don't
well, it's a
come.
little cove in a way. It's the
I
way
don't
it
know
goes.
why the waves don't come crashing in like they do other places. And someone like me, who is not a strong swimmer but loves to be in the ocean, can be
That's
very
cool.
happy there.
It's beautiful. I remember these giant, and they have them all in that region. And I can't remember the name of these flowers, but they're gorgeous. Those big purple spikes. You know
Oh,
the
well,
uh,
I have Mexican sage in my yard here, big purple
they're
spikes.
massive, like big. They're big,
uh,
big purple spikes. I can't, but I
okay, I
just
know what
remember.
you're talking about, and I don't know the name of them, but
I
they
don't know
are.
the name, but
Yeah,
everyone,
I
when
know
you
what
go
you're
out
talking
there,
about.
they're beautiful, aren't they? It's almost like
Well, we're
artichoke
not
blooming.
having, yeah, they are. We're not having a big super bloom year. We haven't had
Mm,
enough rain here in my area. I'm in my
right.
local mountains, but we've survived the fires, which is,
Arizona's the same
you
thing.
know,
I've heard that from our friends in Tucson, and I mean Santa Fe just had snow, and Tucson got really
it's
cold, and
weird,
the weather's weird. We're right now in
very,
Asheville,
very
and talk
weird.
about going from the hurricane. I mean, it's like everywhere you go, it's construction, and there, which is normal here because everybody is moving here, which is kind of like balance it out. I mean, it's like if there's a little piece of land, someone's going to put a house on it, but at the same time there's still all this recovery work from the hurricane. So like the French Broad River is still being cleaned up. I was just looking up in the trees, and someone's TV antenna is up in the trees, and I'm like, what the heck is that? We're like looking, what is that? And it turns out it's like some
Where are you, Lisa? You're always moving
Asheville.
around. Ash
Asheville, North Carolina, where the
uh,
hurricanes happened. And
oh,
so it's
wow.
still going through, just like you're saying with the fires. And so I think it's really important, like you're saying, about knowing about the beaches, check out with Heal the Bay,
Right.
but
Yeah.
same
Yep.
as here.
That's
Be People need to be patient because some roads are still being closed to even get water to
right.
residents still.
Well, that's why I wanted to go to Cozy Dale Trail because they had a huge fire they called the Thomas Fire the year
Yep.
before the Woolsey Fire, and it really, really was it was the worst fire in their history, and it did go through that back area where Cozy Dale is. But it looks like it when I got there, it looked pretty much the same. And some hikers were coming out, and I asked him about the trail. I said, "Is it well maintained?" Yeah, it's well maintained. It's well marked. Yes, it's a beautiful trail, but there weren't many wildflowers because it's too dry. They have just
Mm,
it's just not a big bloom year here or there. We've had some rain, but not enough, and
mm,
we'll see how that goes because it's
yeah.
we are
Yeah.
in the thick of things here in terms of fire threat. But
Yeah.
Ojai is still lovely. It's still there, and the other thing that's fun to do in Ojai, and I forgot to mention this, is the Pink Jeep Tour.
Oh,
So
okay.
at sunset, the Topa Mountains, which frame this valley, get a pink cast to them. So the Pink Jeep Tour takes you up to the top of the mountain, and you have the view looking down, and you have the sunset, and it's really fun. And you bounce around up on
Did
these
they give you some
mountain roads.
wine?
No, they don't give you wine, but they take you down to Bucali's at the end for their
Okay.
strawberry shortcake. This huge strawberry shortcake is their famous thing, and so at the end of the Pink Jeep Tour, they
You get
they take
strawberries.
you to Bucali's. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
like that. And you can have wine when you get there with
Oh
shortcake.
yeah.
That sounds
Oh
good.
yes, you definitely can. You
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
can.
she did it. Well, I think next time definitely spend the night. But you know what? That's a sign of a good place. Is like you always go, gosh, I wish I just had one more day or another day, or
Right. I
that's a good place. Yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds good.
Oh,
So,
they have Meditation Mountain. I didn't get there either. So,
ooh, okay. So I'm thinking this is Ojai Part One.
well, I'm just saying, check it out before you go. You have to register to go to the mountain, which is why I didn't go because they only had 2-hour windows and I was doing it all in one
Oh,
day. See, that's what I'm saying. It's really warrants, 2 or 3 days, really, if not
it
more.
sounds like
Why
a
not?
weekend escape, but I'm like you. I like to go midweek and not be so crowded.
Right.
But then, like if there's a music festival now,
You'll think about it.
depends on who's playing. But more normally, I'm gonna want to hear. I'll do anything for live music, man. I'm a
Well, the
sucker for
next one
that.
they're having, I think, is Flamenco Company from,
Ooh,
that's going to be doing, dancing and music and, looked really
nice.
fun.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we're excited about your book and can't
yeah.
wait for that. So
Yeah,
that's gonna
I'll be working on it all summer. It's my summer project. It'll
awesome
be good.
because Linda doesn't sit still. Nope. Just have an adventure. So we're looking forward to next month. I wonder where you're going to go next.
Well, I'm going to Oregon for between 11th and the 17th. I'll be up there for a week exploring, and it's going to be a garden tour. I'm going to focus on the
Ooh,
gardens in Oregon, of which there are many: the Rose Garden, the Japanese Garden, the
ooh. Are you
Grotto.
in a Portland area
Yeah,
or
I'll be in Portland
beautiful
and Willamette. I think it's Willamette or Willamette Valley.
Willamette, Willamette
Willamette. See,
Valley?
I have
Good
trouble with it.
wine. Good
That's
wine.
right. It's wine country. So
A
I'm
lot of.
there and there's the 10 Waterfalls Trail. I got to do
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah.
I'm going to send you some things. Yes, I
So,
like this. That area is gorgeous.
will do because I'll have 3 days there and 3 days on my own. three
Mm.
days hosted, and they'll have activities for me. I like birding, and
Oh,
I'm
Willamette
looking for a
Valley's.
little river raft or something.
Well, the gardens like when you go to Portland, Salem is the capital city, and the capital city, like if you go in where the Capitol building is, they've got some beautiful gardens.
Oh,
But Salem is known for iris, and so
ah,
you may want to check that out. And then this is a beautiful time of year because all these little farm stands pop open with fresh berries, and you pick orchards and
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
well, that was
I'll
June,
be
I
there
think.
in
Yeah.
May. I mean,
Yeah.
Oregon can
Ooh.
get really hot in the summer because I was
Hmm.
in Medford one year and it was wow, sizzling, sizzling.
It can. It
So,
can.
so
But that.
May should be good.
Oh, yeah. May is gorgeous. May is. Oh, it's beautiful. And
Mhm.
we've done it where you go down the coast highway all the way down. Okay. Don't. This
I've
this
done the
area.
coast. I've done the
Oh,
coast. I don't
yeah.
know whether we did an episode about it, but we could. I've
Okay.
done the coast.
All
Okay.
right, the coast, because there's elk in a place called Roosevelt. Not Roosevelt. No, no, I got the name wrong. But
Yachats. I stayed in
there.
Yachats by the park there that was really wonderful. Perpetua, I
Well, I'm
believe.
glad you're pronouncing all this. This is good. But Coos Bay and all of that area,
Yeah.
and then going into the redwoods because I'm a redwood hugger,
Well,
and
yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah, you went to Oregon's
Yeah,
redwood forest.
I did it on the Oregon, California coast. I went
Mm.
into the redwoods there and I would love to go back.
We're
Beautiful.
going back in the fall.
Nice.
So we're going to go up to Eugene area, which is also beautiful gardens. I mean, it's just Oregon is a special state, and Central Oregon is gorgeous
Yeah.
too.
It's not. I love the coast there because you can just drive along and stop anywhere and
Have
walk
picnics,
out onto the beach, and you've got wildflowers and trails. I mean, it's
driftwood.
really, really
Mm.
easy and nice to have fun there. So,
I got to get you to Oric, to Gold's Bluff Beach is in California, so it's just near Crescent City,
ah,
and kind of between like you south of Trinidad, I think. And
yes, that's one area I haven't been. Right.
oh, Linda, you can go on the beach. You drive on this dirt road. It's a well-maintained, nice dirt road, and you're driving through the redwoods, and there's massive ferns, so it's like being in Jurassic Park. And then all of a sudden, you're at the beach, and they've got berries everywhere, blackberries and elk.
Oh, yeah.
See, like
Yeah,
I keep, and thank goodness for Save the Redwoods League. They do a lot of that
yeah.
work that's restoring all these
I
areas.
actually
I
get
love
their
them.
literature, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they've been on the shows many times, and but this is good. And California State Week, State Park Week is coming up in mid-June. Just a reminder
ooh,
to everyone. So,
okay.
yeah, with all the parks that you go to in California, I would say go get your book now because, I know you're updating it and everything, but still, it's a good book to
I
use.
am. So, is the California State Park book?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, your book. I'm talking about your book.
Oh, my
Um,
book. Well, my book.
yes, yes.
In June, I'm going, I have a whole trip planned going up the coast. I'll have lots new stuff to share.
Cool, cool. Well,
All right.
everyone, keep up with Linda's adventures. Linda Ballou author.com and Lost Angel Adventures.com. You can go to those websites. Everything's in the episode notes. But thank you so much and have some more fun.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.
And always have the second glass of wine.
Don't tempt me.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio's Lost Angel Travel Adventure Show with Linda Ballou, travel writer and author. Keep up with her at lindaballauthor.com and lostangeladventures.com. You can also keep up with Big Blend Radio at bigblendradio.com. Now, happy traveling.